Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I am finally filming my June wrap-up. I went and visited my brother who's in the Navy, so this video is coming a little late, but I read 8 books in the month of June, which I'm really excited about because I was in a reading slump and I still kind of am, but 8 books, great. Some of them were rereads and that's why I was able to read in a slump, if that makes sense. But yes, let's get into it. I'm excited. So in the month of June, I got really into doing puzzles. Like, I'm not kidding, I would sit there for like 5-6 hours just doing puzzles. So I decided to listen to audiobooks. And if you know me, you know I only listen to audiobooks if it's a reread. But I wanted to try to listen to one that wasn't a reread and I had never read before. And so for me to do that, I was like, I'm gonna do a memoir because I feel like those are the easiest for me to listen to if I've never read them before. So I picked up Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling. If you don't know, Mindy Kaling is Kelly Kapoor on The Office. I have met her, I got this signed by her. She's great, lovely. However, I hated this book so much. So first of all, it was extremely offensive. It made fun of like everything under the sun. It was fat shaming, skinny shaming. It made fun of depression. It was sexist. Like, it was really offensive and just vulgar and ugly and just, I don't know how you would enjoy this. Let me know if you did and like why you enjoyed it, because maybe you saw something in it, but I just felt like she was just being really offensive the whole time. So I give it 1 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was a reread, and that is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I first read this when it first came out and absolutely loved it, and I loved it just as much the second time, and I really forgot how brutal it was. So if you don't know, this is dual perspective. It follows a girl named Laya who is kind of like in a lower caste system. Like, she's kind of at the bottom. Like, people don't think that they can read, that they just aren't good for anything, which is false. And then we also follow Elias, who is in Briarcliff, and this is kind of like a school for assassins. And basically Laya's family gets killed and kidnapped by these higher caste system people, so she has to go undercover into Briarcliff and pretend to be a slave so she can uncover some secrets about like the head of the academy. It's great. I really love Elias and Laya so very much. I love the dynamic between them. I love the friendship that forms, and I just love Laya as a character. I also love Elias as a character because he's so different from how he was raised. So good, but just so you know, it is very brutal, but I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was The Deal by Elle Kennedy, and this was actually a lot darker than I expected, so trigger warning for rape and sexual assault. But basically this is set in college, which was really fun to read a college setting book. It follows this girl named Hannah who's doing really well in one of her classes, and the captain of the hockey team is not doing well, and if he doesn't pass his remake test, he's going to be off the team, and that's just not going to go well for him. So he sees that Hannah's doing really well, so he's like, hey, tutor me, and she's like, no way. And then he's like, hey, you have a crush on the really popular football guy, so how about you tutor me and I'll pretend to date you so you'll get some clout and he'll want to date you. Which is kind of crazy. So yeah, basically they make this deal so she can make someone jealous. I was so surprised with how nasty and ugly the guys were in here. Like, if you've read this, were the guys at your college like this? And maybe it's because I went to a private Baptist school and so like the guys weren't this nasty, but they were so ugly and I just could not stand them. Like, throughout the whole book, I was like, I don't know if I can finish this, but I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars just because I did love Garrett and Hannah's dynamic and their relationship that grew together. But yeah, let me know if the guys at your school were just this disgusting. The next book was also a reread for me, and that is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This is book 2 in the Ember in the Ashes series, so I can't speak on this one, but I also gave it 5 out of 5 stars. You really cannot put this series down. Like, it is so intense, and I am just like so upset with how some of these things go. Like, Sabaa Tahir does not hold back on your favorite characters. I will say that there is a character in the first 2 books, well, I guess he's in the whole series, but I haven't read the whole series yet, but his first 2 books, Keenan, I cannot stand him. Like, as soon as we met him, I was like, get out of my face. But yes, love this, 5 out of 5 stars. So the next book I read, I actually read on Kindle because I got a Kindle this month, and that is The Selection by Kira Cass. I've been wanting to read this since I was 15, I don't know when it came out. So if you don't know, this is like The Bachelorette. It follows an American singer who is in a lower caste system, and there's this competition where they can go. You know how The Bachelorette works, and she gets in. It's a whole thing. I love this book. Okay, you know, I don't need you to judge my taste in books. I love this, and I actually gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I know, but I just cannot wait to continue. I loved the characters. I loved the little competition thing. I just love dystopian, and that's what this is. I'm just so obsessed with it, and I cannot wait to continue. So yes, 5 out of 5 stars. I can't see what happens next. The next book I read was The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I have an unpopular opinion on this book because I did not really like it. This is told in verse, and I absolutely love books told in verse, so I was really excited to read this, especially because I had heard so many good things about it. So it follows this girl, I can't even remember her name, and she does slam poetry, and her family is very, very, very strict. They are really Catholic, and so she has a lot of rules and just different things that she can and can't do, and so like she'll get in trouble for like talking to a guy, like things like that. So she finds herself through slam poetry. For me, I did not feel anything reading this book, which might sound bad because it is like a hard-hitting book. I just didn't feel anything. And so if you don't know, I am religious. I am Baptist, so I'm Christian, and Catholicism is like a denomination of Christianity, but it also is very different from what I believe. But I still didn't like how they portrayed God in this. It just rubbed me the wrong way, even though it wasn't my religion, but still didn't like it. So I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Don't come for me, please. The next book I read was Crave by Tracy Wolff, and you're looking at this cover probably and you're like, that looks like Twilight. And you know what? It's a vampire book, and if you didn't see my vlog for this, I had a whole vlog about it. It's insane. I will link it down below. I love that video so much. I am obsessed with this. So this follows a girl named Grace whose parents have just died, and so she's an orphan. So she has to move from California to Alaska to go live with her uncle and cousin, and her uncle is a headmaster of this boarding school up there. Little does she know, the boarding school, there's a little suspiciousness going around, maybe some supernatural creatures, some vampires maybe. So good. The main guy in here, Jackson, chef's kiss, absolutely love that man. I love Grace and Jackson together so much, and just the different creatures and people we see in here is unlike anything I've ever seen. Like, there's some things in here I have never read about in a paranormal romance. Paranormal romance is my favorite genre, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is way better than Twilight. Like, oh my gosh, it's so good. I am so obsessed with it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I cannot wait to read the sequel, which comes out in September, I think, like super soon. So good. I just like cannot talk about this enough. If you read it, let me know so we can scream, but also just go watch my vlog because I wasn't planning on vlogging, and then my first clip is just me screaming because I opened this book and I could not help myself. If you like Legacies or the Vampire Diaries, it's very similar to that. There's also some like little homages to Twilight, which is really great. But yes, 5 out of 5 stars, my new obsession, favorite book of the year. I love it so much. And the final book I read in the month of June was Homecoming by Cass Morgan. This is book 3 in the 100 series, and this is my least favorite so far. There is this character in here, Rhodes, and he's like the chancellor of like the space people. He is one of the worst characters I've ever read in my entire life. Like, he is right up there with Professor Umbridge. I cannot stand Rhodes, and he is in this book so much that it just took my enjoyment down a lot. Another thing is with this series, I don't really like any of the couples. The only couple I really like is Glass and Luke, but I don't see the ships. Like, this is one of those series where people go hardcore for the ships, and maybe my mind will change when I watch the TV show, but like, I don't like any of the couples in here. Like Bellamy and Clark, who I don't care about them. But yes, I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars, and I am excited to see how it ends and to see if I do enjoy some of the people more. So that is it for my June wrap up. Let me know what you read in June, what your favorite book of the month was. I would love to know. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, my social media links will be down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!